We did it. Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back with the Ted Show after some crazy technology, which is all me, I'm sure. I am really excited always to spend time with my friend Nef Rodriguez. He's with Camaraderie Foundation, and he is actually our first guest for our new series we're launching, Lake Nona Regional Chamber Presents. We're going to be talking about all the small businesses. We want to try to focus on our businesses and our charities in town, and Lake Nona Chamber is going to begin to help you and support you. So if you're a Lake Nona Chamber member, please reach out to Don or the team, Felicity. But Nef is an old friend. He's been on the show before. He's amazing. Camaraderie Foundation, one of my favorites. So enough of me talking, Nef. Welcome.
Oh, glad to be here. Love every minute of it.
Super excited to have you. Let's talk origin story. People want to know. We can take a deep dive into Camaraderie Foundation in a little bit, an incredibly important service that you all provide and awareness. But let's learn a little bit about Nef before we take that deep dive.
Yeah, well, I'm a retired lieutenant colonel. I spent 33 years in the Army.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate it. I loved every moment of it. But when I got ready to retire, I couldn't figure out exactly what it was I wanted to do with the rest of my life when I grew up. And so, yeah, I sat here one day looking on the internet, and I saw the Camaraderie Foundation pop up on my screen with a job opening for the executive director's position. And I had a son who suffered PTSD, was hit with 2 IEDs in Iraq. And he got hit with one, flipped the vehicle over, killed 3 of his teammates inside the vehicle, wounded him. He got back to the rear. They brought him back. He got back in a vehicle to go out and get his buddies. He got hit again with a second one.
Wow.
So it really messed him up. And they put him, medically retired him out of the Army and put him on the standard medications that they do, to try and treat PTSD. And then, like all these other young men and young women, when the drugs don't do it, they supplement alcohol with it. And so he did that. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call from a SWAT team that was outside his house because he had barricaded himself in there. And he has no recollection of doing any of that. But they did talk him out. And I went to the judge and asked the judge, let me have custody of him. And they did. And I brought him here to my home in Florida with his children. And I saw them going through that dynamic, the struggle. And he built himself a base camp in the garage because he just wanted to be alone. And sometimes he wanted people, sometimes he didn't. But I saw that dynamic struggle with him. And so when I saw what Camaraderie Foundation does, helping heal the invisible wounds of war, but not only do we do the veteran, but they treat the family. So the children, the spouses, the parents that have to, have the child living in their home with PTSD. So the whole family unit was treated by Camaraderie Foundation. It was absolutely free. And so when I saw that, I was like, you know what? That's something I could do, and I can make a difference and still be with my soldiers and serve them.
It's perfect for you because you have such a giving heart, and Camaraderie Foundation does so much amazing work. I am glad that your son is good or better. Guys, PTSD, nothing to mess around with. You guys should look more up about it. It is life changing, and you have to kind of figure out how to maneuver your way through when you're dealing with that. A lot of times they like to throw a ton of drugs at you, like Nef mentioned earlier. And, that's just a Band-Aid. Right. There's a lot of things that need to be done. We need to take care of our soldiers, our veterans that have dealt with that. It is a rampant, it's epidemic. 22 is a number we talked about earlier. 22 veterans, 22 servicemen and women, they commit suicide daily. That's the average number. That is 22 people too many. And so I am very happy that you're coming on and talking about Camaraderie Foundation. The military, I feel like we need to do a better job as civilians to take care of you guys, or at least to embrace you and wrap our arms around you. All right, enough of me pontificating. You have a video for us.
Yeah, I'd like to share with everyone a testimony from one of our clients, and let me bring that up for you. It tells. Let's see if we can get that up there.
Like you're cranking a jack in the box, and you're cranking it, and you're cranking it, and you're cranking it, and you're cranking it. And it might pop out, it might not. But the entire time you're cranking it, you're anticipating it to pop out. When we were in Iraq, what we did was literally just we went and patrolled every day. We just got in our trucks and we just drove around every day. Sometimes 8, most of the time 10, 12 hours. Right? Not knowing what's going to blow up at any given time, that constant stress, that constant worry, that constant on-edge feeling you have, that takes a toll on you. And it's not until years later that you realize that that's just kind of how you are now. No, you just don't want to admit that you're broke. I mean, that's at least that's how it was for me. Especially when you're in, this is across the service, but especially in infantry, any combat role, you gotta be tough. You gotta be able to brush it off. You gotta be able to focus on the task at hand. And then after the service, the task at hand was go to work every day, make a paycheck, provide for your family, do good work, and get all your tasks done. And then you don't really have to allow yourself a lot of time to stop and do any kind of self-maintenance. So yeah. Probably a combination of time, a failing marriage. I kind of saw that that a lot of my behaviors were affecting my family. So talking to Ruben, that was the easiest part. He wasted no time. I mean, he did all the hard work. I mean, he literally moments later, I had an email with several different providers that were in my area. He said, "Look, if none of those work out for you, let me know. I'll send you more. You've got your own provider, and if they're not in our list, we'll put it in our list." And that's something that Camaraderie Foundation does very well, is just make it easy, and there's literally no strings attached, and working things out. I can't change, and a counselor can't change the things that have happened, but just getting them out and talking them through with somebody, that the amount of processing space that I gathered just from going to counseling, like I'm actually able to think.
You have to advise anybody who's feeling the effects of PTSD or might be going through it, and they might not be aware. What would you tell them?
The realist in me will tell them you'll know when you're ready.
I mean, it's just so you watch that as a civilian, right? So I've never had to. I haven't served our military, but as a civilian, you look at that, you think you all are just literally putting your lives on the line all the time. And again, I think because of TV and movies and just the world in general, that we become desensitized to how much of a sacrifice that is and how impactful it is on your lives.
Right. And the other thing is that you never really notice it internally yourself until something triggers it and brings it back up to the forefront. We notice spikes in PTSD cases when events happen here back in the States. For example, after the Las Vegas shooting, there was a spike in PTSD issues. After the Pulse shooting here in Orlando, there was a spike in PTSD. And now, even with the COVID thing going on right now, with the isolation, which is not a good thing for them to have to do anyway, now there's a 20% increase in the rates of suicide.
It's just, the whole thing's heartbreaking, and I think people we don't know what to do. So Camaraderie Foundation, tell us what services you all provide and how that impacts somebody like the gentleman who was on, the veteran that was on.
Yeah. Well, we have 3 different programs. So our main thing is to save lives and save families. That's our motto. And so we try to do that in 3 different programs. One is counseling, of course, because we want them to get the mental health they need to get where they are healthy and can support and take care of their families. And then the other pillar is the family support, family fun days, where we support the families, bring them together. Because when you're in the military and you're serving, you're in a tight-knit group. And so spouses know spouses, and we all hang together on weekends and we'll barbecue together. But when you get out of the service and you go home, here back to Orlando or whatever, and you move into an apartment complex, the guy in apartment 2C really could care less what you're doing this weekend.
It's true.
And so the families lose that camaraderie that they had. And then the third pillar is transitioning from the military into the civilian world. How do I take what I did, especially in his case where he was an infantryman? How do you take that skill set and can change it into a job here in the civilian world? What kind of skills do you bring? And so we help them transition into a job or into a skill. We teach them how to network, how to present yourself, how to take what you did and translate the leadership that you exhibited. A lot of people are looking for that kind of leadership in their employees. And so we teach them how to do that. But the main priority of our effort is the counseling.
I think that those of us, I've had a lot of vets on here, and I think we've talked about it the last time you were here. We don't understand that transition is, you think, well, you were a non-veteran before you went in the service, so why can't you come out and be exactly like you were before? And I think people don't understand that impact and the power that serving has on a lot of people. And when they transition out, just because you were I'm going to mess it up, but you're a special agent, XYZ, PDQ, and you had a specific job that you did in the military, doesn't mean that civilian life understands how to translate that into a job that makes sense for you. And so we as corporate America, I know we're working on it, but we don't do a great job of trying to figure out how to utilize those leadership and business gifts and talents that you were talking about and translate them into corporate America.
Right. One of the things I like to tell people is that, they taught us how to put the uniform on, but they didn't teach us how to take it off. And that's the way it goes, because we'll spend a year, 2 years training, like you said, someone who comes from being a civilian. We will spend 2 years training them to become a soldier. But then when it comes time for them to get off of their active duty or off their service, we'll spend 24 hours out processing them and sending them home. So we never teach them how to undo. And I found that even that, when I was, like I said, I was trying to figure out what I was going to be when I grew up after I retired. I had done this. I went in the service. I was 17 years old.
Wow. And
I was 47 when I retired. And so all that time, that's all I've ever known was the military. So now I've come out into the civilian world to the workforce, and I'm trying to figure out what it is I can do and what do I want to do. And I struggled with it even here in Orlando, because I did some small work with other organizations, and when I email like I do in the military, which is short, concise, to the point. Well, the normal civilian individual takes that as being rude. Well, you're bossy. Now you're just telling me what to do. And so I was having those conflicts with people that were working for me, because they were taking it as, well, he's just, being short with me. And it's not.
We don't understand. We need to be educated better, meaning we need to educate ourselves better. And I think another thing that veterans face is that you all are used to everybody that you could lay your life down for people, and so there has to be this insanely deep trust. And you come out into the real world and you see corporate America isn't really about taking care of people or people you can trust. It's a very difficult thing. You're used to having an entire team, a unit around you that no matter what, you can 100% depend on and has your back. And you come out into corporate America, and corporate America does not have your back. And so that is also a painful transition. I've heard lots of vets talk about that. Like, I just felt like I went in, and if I gave my word, I gave my word. And if they gave their word meant it. Well, that's not how corporate America works.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that's the way. And then you feel betrayed because you trusted them and they let you down or they didn't follow through. And so now you get that triggering device. And so now you get, again, another cascading event that will trigger your PTSD issues.
Right. And as many vets who have come out and talked about how the transition is so hard, they have said, as difficult as it was and how much it impacted me, once they're out in corporate America, they are longing for that camaraderie back. And they're like, I would enlist in a minute. I would go back in a minute, even though it has impacted them so tremendously, physically and psychologically. And yet that strength of team and trust and camaraderie is just, you just can't replicate it, or we just choose not to out here in civilian world. All right, if people want to get involved now, if people want to learn more about Camaraderie Foundation, if we have veterans listening, which I know we do, what's the best way for them to reach out?
If they go to our website, which is www.camarderiefoundation, all one word, .org. They can get, if they want to contribute and donate, they can do that on the donate site. If they're a veteran that needs assistance, then they can go to the programs and whichever one they're interested in, they can fill out the applications. And there are some things that are really unique about the Camaraderie Foundation, which was another reason why I fell in love with it. Besides just doing the veteran and the family, which is amazing, and being free, which is amazing, was that we have an 89% success rate on treating the PTSD. And the reason that I think that success rate is so high is because we go through removing all the barriers that could possibly be there to keep someone from successfully completing the program. So if a veteran goes on our website, fills out the application, within 24 hours, we get back in with them. So it's a rapid response. It's not going to one of these other organizations and you might not, you get an appointment in 3 months. But so within 24 hours, the counselors will call you. And then they'll do the interview process to find out what it is that you need assistance with. And so it's tailored directly to the veteran. And then we'll find out what that you're interested in, and we'll tailor the therapy that appeals to you. So we don't tell you when you come in, okay, you're going to group therapy. Well, I don't like group therapy. Well, that's the therapy we offer, and that's where you're going. We let you choose. There's all different types of therapy. So you select the one that's right for you. That way you're more prone to complete the program. The other thing is we try to find a counselor, and we have over 480 counselors in our database right now around the country. We're in 43 states and 3 foreign countries right now. We do it all with a staff of 8 out of Orlando here and 1 in Tampa.
No way. I did not know that.
Yes. Wow. So that maximizes the dollars that people donate going to the programs and to the things that we say they're going to go to. So right now, 84 cents of every dollar goes directly to the programs. We're pretty good.
If you want to get involved, I have a lot of people that reach out after these shows and say, I want to help. Well, here's a place where 84 cents of every dollar goes to helping. And I think that if people would just understand that it's a different world, and the sacrifice that you all make it's an amazing one. And I want us as a country to be a little more supportive. How about a lot more supportive of what you guys face and what you have to deal with when you come back to the States and try to figure out how to maneuver through to the next phase of your life. Nef, you're amazing. Camaraderie Foundation is amazing. I have the website scrolling across the bottom, camaraderiefoundation.org. I've tagged Nef. You can reach out to him. You can go directly to the site. You can reach out to me. Get involved. Our veterans and our veteran families, I believe, are people that we need to be taking care of them, because they are doing everything in their power every day to protect us and sacrifice so much. So I'm thankful for you and all of your service, thankful for your son's service, and I love Camaraderie Foundation. Thanks for being on the show, my friend.
Oh, anytime. We love being here, and we thank y'all for your support, everybody.
Absolutely. And thanks to Lake Nona Regional Chamber for bringing Nef Rodriguez on the first Lake Nona Regional Chamber Presents show. I was so happy to see that. Love and appreciate you, Nef, and all you do. You guys reach out, get involved. Don't let our vets come back and feel like there is no place to go. They have a place to go, and Camaraderie Foundation is one of those amazing organizations. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Nef.
Absolutely.
Talk to you guys later. We will be out and about, and I'm back, I think,